Hello, this week's Wedding Minute, we are at the Gown Shop in Perrysburg with Stacey. We're going to talk wedding dresses today. So, Stacey, give us a little introduction, tell us about yourself.
Yes, hi, I'm Stacey Fork. I own the Gown Shop here in downtown Perrysburg, Ohio. I have had this location for a little over 5 years here in Toledo, and I previously had another location outside of Ohio, so I have had the Gown Shop business for almost 10 years.
Is there anything that you want to share with couples? I know we're gonna ask a few questions about I think what couples like to hear. But do you have anything specific about your process and how brides come here and try on dresses and everything like that?
Sure. So when I started 10 years ago, I specialized in the idea of more of the experience, and kind of the dress comes after, I guess I would say. So I've always done everything one-on-one with each bride. So when a bride does schedule an appointment, and appointments are required with us, so we do the appointment for an hour to an hour and a half, which I've found is a really good amount of time, and so a bride doesn't get burned out. And she'll shop here individually and have the store to herself. So it's quite the experience to be, the Gown Shop bride.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a great aspect, because even just going shopping and trying on clothes in general, I always get overheated and it's a stressful time. So I think trying on dresses, I think that's really cool that they get the whole place to themselves.
Yeah.
I know that one question brides have is about the bustle. Or do you have any tips or tricks on how they can learn to bustle and make sure that it's going to stay throughout the whole night?
Sure. So bustles are not predestined for a dress. So no dress comes with a bustle. So you ultimately get to choose what bustle you want. And the two bustles that people are most familiar with are called American or traditional bustle and the French bustle. The third one that I actually incorporate quite a bit is what I call like the ball gown bustle or the bubble head bustle. So there are a few different types of bustles, and therefore each dress can bustle multiple ways. Some work just better bustled one specific way, based off of if it's a fabric that's like a really clean classic fabric, like a satin or a crepe, or if you have a lace detail or dimension with your train that you want to make sure you're showing off. Same thing with like the button detail. In terms of keeping the bustle throughout the night, so a couple of things. So your seamstress or a tailor will be the one to put the bustle in. My biggest suggestion though is to also make sure that whether it's a mother, your mother-in-law, maid of honor, someone is there with you at your last fitting to make sure that they're going over how the bustle is done. And also, if you have the ability to video it, of course we all have our phones these days, so video how it's done, because once you get to the wedding day, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of emotions, you want to get things going pretty quickly, so hopefully that will help you speed it up. If you have the ability to, put two bustles in your dress, because that day, if one does not work for whatever reason or someone steps on you, you have that other option to flip it up and do the other bustle.
Another question that brides will have is what to do with the dress afterwards. And I really never know what to tell them.
Yes.
So maybe you can help us out there.
So cleaning and preserving your dress is, I think ideal. Even if you are planning on parting ways with your dress at some point, reselling or passing it on to someone else, you want to make sure that it's cleaned at least, and the preservation process is great too. So we work with a company here at the Gown Shop that's actually been doing it for over a century, yes, over 100 years. It's their specialty. They are based out of New York, so the gown itself and along with your accessories are shipped to them directly. They do all the cleaning and preservation, and then the gown comes back to you in that beautiful box directly to your doorstep. So it's actually a super easy process. So from my perspective, the best thing to do the day of, end of the day, is to take off your gown, throw it back in your garment bag that you probably have with you from when you were getting ready that morning, and then make an arrangement for yourself or a friend, maid of honor, mother, to drop it off for you maybe while you're on your honeymoon, and then it's all taken care of.
Last thing, I just want to ask if there are any special tips or tricks on like how to find the perfect dress. Any advice for brides on that?
Yeah, so starting the process, I get a lot of people who say, oh, I've never done this before. Well, yes, most people have never done this before. And maybe you've been along the ride for a sibling or friend, but it is still specific to you and your process. So the most that I can suggest right off the bat is, which is pretty much about anything in the wedding industry and world, is making a budget. So if you have your date set, therefore you have your venue set, so you can visually know what time of year you're getting married, where you're getting married, the dress can come shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
What comes along, of course, with budgets and why gowns have such ranges is, of course, how things are constructed, the fabrics that they're constructed in, the detail that's on the dress, how long the trains are, the laces, the buttons, the sparkle, like all the things. If it's made in the US versus made overseas, like there are a lot of different factors that come into play. So for here, we require that a budget is noted, and it can be a range, but pretty much whenever you're going shopping at any store, that would be ideal.
Thank you so much, Stacey. I feel like this is really helpful for all of our brides who are getting ready to start dress shopping. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to message us or the Gown Shop directly, and I'm sure that we can help you. How can people get a hold of you to make an appointment?
Sure.
What's the best way?
Yeah, so if you are on Instagram, we are the Gown Shop Bridal. So you can DM us directly from there. You can also reach us from the links that are there. So our website is thegownshop.com, and our phone number is the 419-679-GOWN. So it's pretty easy. So you can request your appointment by giving us a call or actually filling out your appointment request form online. I also actually keep our Pinterest boards, so anyone who loves to Pinterest, we keep our Pinterest boards really up to date with what we have in store as well as what's coming in soon, and just a pretty active social media, so you can check in with what we have in store.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys. Have a nice day.